As Baba is true server, I am also Baba's humble and true server. As Baba is at service all the time, I am also at service. Through my thoughts, I just create thoughts of love, thoughts of peace, thoughts of Baba's remembrance. So every thought has vibrations, and every thought serves not only where I am present, but that thought can travel and can touch anyone. So simply just see that my every thought is pure thought, is for the benefit of others, because thoughts never stop. When I have to do something, yes, mind can be with action, but still there is a lot of time I can keep serving through my thoughts. Always remember that your not even single thought will ever go waste. You don't think I am thinking here about peace, then what? No, that thought is reaching everywhere. We were aware and did bhakti for so many hours. 3 days we had been remembering Baba, thinking of peace. And definitely it has and had a big impact. So be server like Baba. When it comes to giving knowledge, there is limit. But serving through the thoughts is unlimited. Through that thought, you will receive, you will become the embodiment of peace and love. But also, it goes all around the world. Virtue spreads also very, very fast. So let me be the server through my thoughts. Take drishti from Baba and just spread God's love, peace in soul consciousness.
Om Shanti, welcome to Avyakti Parivar, January 21, Raazyukt, Generosity. Now we'll be listening from Mohini Didi.
Om Shanti. one of the delightful thought comes in the mind is that what we have learned from Baba is to give. Before, giving was always thinking of if I give, I need to get reward. I need to get equivalent of what I give. But Baba taught us just give. I think which is a very, very beautiful quality in the life. Not only quality, but also it's like the feelings in giving, while giving, kind of your heart opens by giving. So Baba's this quality of generosity was so visible from ordinary simple things to very unlimited big things. I feel that every morning Baba speaks to us. It's also generosity, right? Because there's this kindness in Baba's heart for all the children. Children should become worthy. Children should remain happy. Children should earn the fortune for 21 births. So Baba every morning talks to us because of his feelings of generosity for us to make us worthy. And Baba's nature of forgiveness, Baba knew about our mistakes, about our weaknesses, but he will never, never look at us with that kind of awareness. Oh, this child did this. No. From Baba's drishti, you can never, never feel that. Every time you take drishti, Baba says, okay, child, move on. Keep courage. Mama used to say, don't repeat it. But Shri Baba just forgives children. And some, they feel very obliged that Baba forgives, but some take advantage. We think, oh, well, Baba doesn't know. So forgiveness is a big generosity. In that our heart is always, oh, I can forgive everyone, maybe not this one. And sometimes one is difficult to forgive. You have to do that for generosity. So forgiveness of Baba is a big generosity for us. And also in general, as you all know that Baba was a very charitable soul, even before coming to Gyan. In society, in community, whatever were the needs, those who were really needy ones, Baba will always some way help them. But after coming in Gyan also, he was able to surrender everything because of generosity. If his heart was not unlimited and big enough, open enough, He would have at least keep one building for his family, right? He said, no, everything belongs to God. And he knew it's for the service to humanity. So in generosity, he offered everything for God's service. It's a big generosity, isn't it? That he said, let the world be served. And Baba knew that world will be served from this. Whenever one has to give, generally, what will I get if I give? Hmm? Yes, Shiv Baba already showed Brahma Baba what he's going to get if he belongs to him or surrender is the kingdom of golden age. Hmm. But that is future, right? But at present, what will he get? So he was never insecure that everything I have given now, what will happen to me or someone in the family? No. When that true heart is there, true love is there, or truth is there, you are never uncertain. You are never insecure because you know uh, that just the whole energy of generosity is so powerful. It will protect you, it will provide you, it will protect you and also provide you. So, Baba, the act of giving is something which he always taught us. No one could ever leave Baba's home or yagya without taking toli. Even some say, no, it's all right. No, no, you must take something. We go anywhere we go, toli and blessing card. You keep printing, keep keeping very beautiful blessing cards to share. So there was such that looking at Baba, so many families came forward and they wanted to surrender. So they were very good families with children and they brought everything also. Not only that, but it is his generosity was so true that 80 plus years until now, it's inspiring all of us to share what we have. So it must be his act of generosity, which inspires us. And everyone, even now, those who come to Baba, they always feel their heart is very big, honest, and true to share. It's not only question of physical way sharing, but even drishti, drishti of God's love. Just speaking few words of love and peace to anyone, like you sow the seed in them of what is love, what is peace. Anywhere we go, wherever we are, our hearts are also very generous, like Baba. So, who taught us? Who gave us power? Mm. Baba's children are never miser, right? But this is coming from true heart, as I said, not for name and fame. Mm. Not to come on the top list of donors, right? Not like this, incognito. I remember what I learned when I came to Yagya. Even before, as incognito the charity is considered to be high quality charity. But some people become donors because their names will be listed on the top list or mentioned. That is why I remember uh, in Madhuban some came and said, Baba, I want to give this money to build this room or hall, but I want my name on that or my mother's name on that. Many times some call us. We want to do something in our mother's name, but we want that name. We said, no, it's okay if you don't want to give. So Baba said at that time, no, I cannot have name on any hall, any room. And that's why you see in Madhuban, Gyan Sarovar, you will never see anyone's name on any project. Because Baba said, no, you are doing for the well-being of the humanity. So, and they have to feel it's coming from Baba. Not that when they sleep and they think, oh, this room's money had been donated by so and so. So how can there be Baba's remembrance? Then Baba jokingly will say, even my name is not there. Even Dadi Prakash Bani's name is not there. How can have your name? So many say it because they feel to leave memorial for their older people from the family. So that's why they want name. But Baba said no. So Baba never taught us or did anything to get at least equivalent, if not more, of what Baba is sharing. Really, when we think of generosity, the quality which definitely inherited from God is unlimited. Because as God's love is unconditional, He says your fortune should multiply. You give because your fortune multiplies. And sometimes when we have, whether it is time or wealth or something, we have used it. And it's at the right time because that, if we don't do it, it will go wasted. So he helps us to save it and use it in a way that our fortune is created. So that itself is a generous heart, isn't it? Generous thought. So we are also children of Shiva, Baba, right? And then we see example of Brahma Baba. And we children also have this thought that I want my heart to be open, to be generous, forgive, so that one feels very, very elevated and also a lot of happiness comes, lightness. Dadi Prakashmani in the end used to say, oh, this is Baba's Bhandara, Brahma Bhojan. Everyone should get this. So actually physical is just way of example, but all is very internal and subtle, which comes from kindness, for love, for service to humanity. They are very, very beautiful thoughts from where this quality of generosity is seen in the practical. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, dear Mohini Didi. Hello, everyone. I'm back.
Om.
You mentioned already so many, I think I wrote at least 16 celestial points associated with generosity. And this is a virtue that we know well. It's a virtue that we, I think, practice a lot in all the centers. I had a thought that as we have, sometimes we go through the three worlds, physical, subtle, incorporeal. Maybe the virtues also travel through the three worlds. And I was wondering if you would see and describe, although you did already a little bit, the difference between, lokik or physical generosity in our actions, generosity on a spiritual level, on a more subtle level, angelic level, and the seed of generosity in the soul. How would you describe those different layers of expression of generosity? Trilokinat generosity.
Well, I don't know what is your thought behind it. Maybe you can tell a little more about how in different regions or different worlds generosity will be experienced, right?
In a way that you were saying, I was saying that there is kind of mundane generosity where it's a common virtue in the world. And like you said, even Brahma Baba had it before. But we know Baba talks, and you mentioned so many aspects of more subtle generosity. Giving merely every day as an act of generosity is more spiritual, the spiritual generosity of the heart. And also because we're looking at the root sanskar, I was thinking, what is really the seed of generosity? You mentioned already true heart or true love, kindness. So there is already some, you already mentioned a few points, but I was curious on how do we distinguish kind of ordinary generosity from spiritual one to the essence.
In soul consciousness, in corporeal stage, giving drishti of soul conscious, sharing in soul conscious level, could be generosity of our original stage, eternal stage, that is incorporeal world. Angelic form, wherever, whatever way we could reach to help through our pure thoughts, through thoughts of love, sharing the vibrations where sorrows can be removed. So charity at level of angelic stage, and charity or generosity in the physical way. Whether it is time, whether it is our thoughts and through our words, so many different ways. And of course, time is a big generosity too, especially these days. Everyone is so busy to make time for service and to make time for everything, like for charity, for generosity. Same is through actions. So I think we are generous at all three levels, incorporeal, angelic, and also as a Brahmin.
You see, the question came to me, but not the answer. And I would not have given an answer as accurate as this one. I like that. The virtue being trilokinat, the virtue in the three worlds. It's interesting. I thought also of asking you, Baba would say maybe that we are all generous, but number-wise. What will be the end of the sentence? We'll be generous. We're all generous number-wise, according to what? According to our capacity, our what would be the end of the sentence?
I think capacity increases by generosity, because I feel that if there is a pure thought, elevated thought, it get accomplished. So your capacity increases. That's what I have seen. Any kind of capacity. I remember that even with the time, once Dadi Janki taught me that if you have, have patience to listen to everyone, have patience in the sense of you, like some people will say, oh, I just want 40 minutes to talk to you. Oh, I said, 40 minutes? Anyway, okay. Oh, I really need that much time. Please, you have to help me. I said, okay. So they start talking, and after 10 minutes or some or other, it finishes. Oh, they say, I didn't realize it will finish so fast. But at least you are generous enough to say yes, but deeply inside, you don't want to spend 40 minutes there, because many things there are, how long we can keep going on anyone's personal matters. We want to help. So when there is generosity, capacity keep increasing. I have experienced so much that, and I love generosity, but I find that immediately capacity of sharing keep increasing all the time. So we cannot say according, but also there is something where I feel, what will I get out of it, right? I remember that as a young instrument, when I had to keep listening to people's stories. And one day I said, well, God, what I have to do with all these stories? And then I was sitting with Baba, and Baba said, oh, you have to be generous. And you sit next to me and listen. Why you listening alone? So after that, I always, anyone tells me anything, I said, Baba, they speaking to you. Baba, they speaking to you. You fulfill their desire. You help to remove their obstacles. What can a soul do? Yes, of course, whatever, limited, but it's Baba, no? So capacity we can gain by keeping Baba next to me. And also Baba grants, no? Capacity keep increasing. But as I said, you have to be more kind and more altruistic and internally deeply knowing that what I give, I receive multi-million times. Remind yourself of that. So a time comes you really become very generous. And, some of this nature of controlling and all this really just disappear. You are very open and you trust everyone. Trusting is a big generosity too. Sometimes when we don't trust someone and then so trust everyone and be very, very happy to see everyone blossoming, because Baba's children, they are birds and we have to keep watering, allow them, everyone to be sustained in unlimited way spiritually. It's also generosity as an instrument, to have that trust, right? So capacity will definitely keep increasing. So don't put yourself, anyone, in number wise, Everyone just says, oh yes, I will follow Baba. I will be with Baba. So your feelings will be unlimited, then your sharing will also be unlimited. Right? So
But can
no,
you still think of some reasons why, for some souls, it would be difficult to be really very generous or to expand that generosity? Do you know what would be the blockages for that? Oh.
yeah, it's insecurity actually, lot of insecurity. And I think when there is lack of self-trust, then you don't trust others. But if there is lot of, total trust on your own self, then you are able to do it. So blockages could be attachment, could be not sure if there will be any benefit in that or if there will be any reward in that. What you think could be other blockage?
Broken hearts. Those whose heart is not completely filled with Baba. And I was wondering if there's a link between a lack of generosity or generosity and selflessness. Sometimes I'm trying to understand more. We say selfishness, but I think we should have a vegetarian word for that, not selfish, but maybe self-pakoraness or a word more, not with fish in it. But why I saw maybe, selfless, we talked about altruism a few nights ago, and is selflessness connected also to that capacity to give more?
Yeah, because one time Brother Jagdish used to say, oh, selfless really means I shouldn't even keep share for myself. I said we look at Brahma Baba's example that how when he surrendered completely, offered everything, I think that he had trust that he will be taken care of. Everything will work out. I think it's come basically really from this trust. But as you're saying that some people, some of the blockage could be of what they have experienced in the past. But recognizing Baba and one who is bestower, I think it really needs a lot of faith in general. And if it's not there, then we are sometimes, sometimes generosity and sometimes doesn't work. Like I was thinking about forgiveness. Like why should I hold anyone's mistake or make anyone feel guilty about anything? Because this is not Baba did to me, right? I always remind myself what Baba gave me. How Baba gave me, I should give to others also. Really, every time I went to Madhuban with Sakar Baba, I always remember what he gave, how respectful he was, how he taught me and sustained. And I just want to do same. So some of you haven't seen Brahma Baba, but with Dadi Prakash Mani, or even just look at Shiv Baba to know our connection with Shiv Baba and whole yagya. So I think we learn from there also. So change can happen, blockages can be removed, you know.
I still remember the first year we went to Madhuban, and I brought a big suitcase to bring some gifts, but I had to buy another suitcase to come back with the gift that I received. And I was amazed that I go to a country that we used to call, poor, and then I would go to a remote place in Rajasthan, and yet I couldn't believe the first year how much we received in gifts, more than what I brought. So I thought this is really, it really melted our hearts, the generosity that we received from Baba and the daddies at the time. Yeah. Do you think we can be too generous? Do you think sometimes we go over the top?
Yeah, we should never be for everything. I always say, because someone said I was so good and other person didn't even acknowledge that. I said, why were you so good? Because you are sorry about you're so good. But if you were just good, it would have worked. Yeah, we have to be sensible also. I was thinking one of the greatest quality Brahma Baba had was wisdom. And when there was wisdom, using virtues in wisdom works well, like honesty. Baba had one main principle of honesty, which is not very common in today's world, right? But you have to be wise when you are honest. You are merciful, but you have to be wise. So wisdom means the knowledge where we could discern, right? That we are not overusing anything, because whenever it's overused, I think it's not beneficial. not for maybe self, but even when you have been giving. I remember Dadi Janki always used to tell that, don't give in a way that someone's greed keep increasing, or dependency keep increasing, or desires keep increasing. So even when we had to help centers, we always say, okay, are you self-sufficient or still you need? Because we want them to be self-sufficient. Like one day I was telling Peace Village jokingly, I said, it's not that we don't want to help, but why don't you take this blessing that you don't need help? So many, many places I tell them that, yes, you can get help, but take this blessing and see how it works. And I think it does work, right? So, yeah, definitely. There is deeper understanding and do everything sensibly, right? Use the knowledge, power to discern, and then use the virtue. It's important. Otherwise, sometimes this karmic account in merciful and you don't know what could happen in that. Many, many situations with money, with time, with so many things. And I said, but why you didn't think properly? So follow Srimad. I think it could help.
You were mentioning earlier about those who come to you and request a certain amount of time to tell you their stories. And I think I was one of those 30 years ago. And I remember the first time I asked you for an official meeting when I was starting to run a center, I think, in Alberta. And I came to meet you in Queens at that time. And I remember coming to you with a long list. I have written down many questions and problems and everything. And I requested an audience with with you. So I was waiting in the living room in Queens, and I was a bit nervous. I knew it was my first time I would have to ask you certain things. And then when you arrived, I remember still vividly as if it was yesterday. The room changed. I was a bit nervous, so the room changed, and he said, "Okay, hello." It was very sweet, and then Drishti, yes, brother, you have questions? And I started to look at my list of 20 questions, and quickly I was jumping every line thinking, well, this I know. I mean, this is not a good question. This is not a good question. This is not. And I was panicking because I thought, oh, I asked for half an hour and all my questions are already empty. There's no need to ask so many things. So I didn't know what to ask you at the end. And I said, I don't have so many questions actually. And the beauty is that you were very generous because you said, well, now you have time, so you can stay here for lunch. And then you said, just wait, and you went to cook. And I was thinking, I came here to ask question, have meeting, and I'm going to be eating, not meeting, but I'll be just eating. And you made what became my favorite dish with paneer at the time. So it was very, very sweet. And I still remember in the kitchen, sitting in the kitchen when you were cooking, and I was watching you cooking and thinking, this is strange. I came to see, the big leader, Sister Mohini, and now she's cooking for me. And my question was so stupid, I didn't even dare asking them. So maybe Baba is listening to all these stories, but he's putting also so much silence, stories get shorter. Otherwise, you can collect all those stories and write the Ramayana according to Sister Mohini. All the stories you're collecting. I know we don't want those stories.
So happy that you still remember.
Yeah, that was a big lesson for me. I did the same to others afterwards. Yeah. I tried to keep the meeting short and have time for eating. Much better eating, better than meeting.
It's so interesting, that how Baba has taught us, it's all Baba taught us. Yeah.
It goes from one generation to another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. There are many who are doing same now.
Thank you so much, Mohini Didi. I feel really that every sentence tonight has so much depth and content. I'm really glad that we had this conversation on generosity. I thought I understood pretty well, but I realize there's so much more to learn in every virtue. So thank you so much for this, and let's invoke Sister Gayatri to see what will be our magic mantra for tomorrow to reflect on that. Thank you again, Mohini Didi. So Gayatri Ben, come from the incorporeal world to the subtle, to the Zoom world. This is the fourth dimension. Maybe we lost Gayatri Didi today. All right. Oh.
कभी शाम बहे कभी रुद्र पल पल एक नया चित्र ओ जिंदगी के सखा यूं ही बहना तू है सृष्टि ब्रह्मा तेरे पिता नामो ब्रह्मपुत्र नमामि ब्रह्मपुत्र तेरी लहरों में पिता की बाहें मिले तेरी बूंदों से फसलों के मोती खिले सदियों से तेरे किनारे जीवन का है खजाना तू बहला यूं ही बहला ये है धरती सजल कर बहना तू देश के कंधे का है नीला दुशला नाम ब्रह्मपुत्र नमामि ब्रह्मपुत्र तेरी लहरों में जीवन की आहट मिले तेरी बूंदों से दुनिया की आंसू धुले नदियाँ नहीं नद कहे तुझको कभी क्रोध ना दिखलाना तेरा सदियों से जारी है बहना तुझे क्या क्या नहीं पड़ा सहना यहाँ बसी हर धड़कन का तू ही है रखवाला नामो ब्रह्मपुत्र नमामि ब्रह्मपुत्र कभी शांत बहे कभी रुद्र पल पल एक नया चित्र ओ जिंदगी के सखा यूं ही बहना तू है सृष्टि ब्रह्मा तेरे पिता नाम ब्रह्मपुत्र नमामि ब्रह्मपुत्र नाम ब्रह्मपुत्र
Brahmaputra. And I was very moved by how the river is remembered, but also of the qualities of the river that definitely had to be connected to Brahma Baba's life. And so the root sanskara that is connected to Brahmaputra is generosity, because the physical river, of course, flows through a land that connects a lot of countries and a lot of people. And without that river coming from the Kailash mountain, coming from the mouth of Shiva, as it were, and ending up into the Bay of Bengal, that river is one of the most important rivers in terms of sustenance, but it is also one of the few rivers that's been named after a male or a man. And of course, that's Brahma Baba. So today's root sanskara is that same kind of flow from Brahma Baba's life, from India across the seven seas to, as we say, the end of the world, which is the Antarctica in Chile, and then up into Australia again. And so he is the guardian of 1 billion hearts. So that's his generosity, what he builds into everyone's heart. He's the guardian of our heartbeat. And so the three areas connect to generosity and to how Baba demonstrated generosity is that he was very inclusive. He included everyone. And so he had this mighty embrace, this huge embrace, that he would embrace everyone without any form of discrimination. They all belonged to him. They were all his children. The second is the expansion that he had. He always thought very big. His vision was for the world. It was never for a country, but it was always for a world. And then, of course, the protection he offered. And the protection was, I think, on many levels, but one of the most beautiful protections he offered was the protection of our hearts. And this is why he always says to us, make your heart into Baba's room and I'll come and sit there. And so these three qualities of inclusion, the mighty embrace, expansion, the flow of life, and the protection, that connection as a guardian, he guards our hearts. And so when I look at this root sanskara of generosity, and I look as Baba as a flowing river and connect to these three qualities, then I would look at the daily quote, tomorrow's quote, which is so very beautiful. And the quote, if we can have the quote up now, the quote is saying, everyone bows before him. No power on earth can give him sorrow. Who is he? He is the truth. Now, in Baba's diary, he did not put truth. He is the truth with a capital T. He just left it as he is truth, actually. He didn't even have a the. So the he is God. God is truth. Who is he? So I think it connects so very beautiful to the root sanskara of generosity, because generosity is something that people bow to, because the way Sister Mohini and Eric in their conversation talked about generosity, it was very, very beautiful. But the one I like the most is when Sister Mohini was saying, you take the virtue and you connect it to wisdom. And then when you connect that virtue to wisdom, that virtue operates in a very different way, because it brings so many different elements to it, because it is put into the truth. Wisdom comes from truth. And then also the different levels to experience that virtue, if it is put into wisdom, is you experience it at the lokik, alokik, and paralokik levels. So tomorrow, as you we concentrate on the quote, also think about it, that when generosity is connected to truth, how do I experience it? So have a good time tomorrow with generosity. And remember Brahmaputra. Om Shanti.
Welcome to Avyakti Journey. Mohini Didi's time with Brahma Baba. Sweet memories that inspire and empower.
Om Shanti Avyakti Parivar. I am sure all of you have filled your aprons with so much love from Bab Dada on the day of remembrance.
Om Shanti, brother. You know, brother, I have been seeing so many pictures from Sakar days, and sometimes I wonder what it felt like to see Sakar Baba with physical eyes. All those children are so fortunate. They used to eat, sing, play, dance, and study with Baba.
Yes, sister, they are the fortunate jewels. But we are also doubly fortunate. You know why? Once someone asked the same question to our Daddy Gulzar, and Daddy said that we are doubly fortunate because we get to experience both Sakar Baba and Avyakta Baba at once. We experience Sakar Baba through the experience of our ancestor souls, and we also get to experience Avyakta Baba through his angelic form. So we have double keys.
Yay, yes! So, what are we waiting for? Should we take off our plane and fly back to Sakar days?
Wow, what a lovely picture. So, Didi, this question is for you. What changes would you observe in the children wherever Baba came to visit centers? And how would Baba react to their enthusiasm?
I think I had shared that how uh, Baba, I was instrument to host Baba in Delhi. Baba wanted to come and there was a big crowd. So one of the couple, they said, we can use their house and host Baba. So you saw that mother standing with the bag, with the wife of that brother, Dr. Mathur and Sister Vijay. And so we are standing at the door. Now, when Baba is around, there's so much power that not only you are enthusiastic, but you are really very, very light like a angel. So it's not Baba's reaction, but how Baba will keep supporting our enthusiasm. Sometimes someone has enthusiasm, but you don't support that. So that person's enthusiasm just get lost or get disappointed, but not like this with Baba. You have enthusiasm, he's supported, your hope increases, joy increases, you feel light, and you want to be more enthusiastic. So Baba is always, always for every virtue which we express, Baba supports that virtue and show us that how it's beautiful, and then it helps us to not only we use that virtue more, but definitely we find that Baba's support for enthusiasm helps us to remain enthusiastic, never get disappointed. So that was Baba's response to enthusiasm. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So now we'll be remembering Baba. Say good night, goodbye, and take drishti from Didi.
Om Shanti. I think that Yoga Bhatti was very good, and it spread lot of vibrations all over the world. So we also did Bhatti. So everything went on very peacefully and keeping us also all well and lot of hope in the humanity. So thank you for having a Akhand Bhatti, and tomorrow we will share more about Brahma Baba. Om Shanti, and thank you and good night everyone.